Hello and welcome to the 11 and a bit episode of the Pointy Hatcast. I am your host Sam, also known as Ducky O'Brien on Twitch, and we are joined today by our co-host, fellow wizards Barry.
Hello.
And Isaiah.
What's up?
Alright, today's episode is on the best movie about family, Shazam. Our email is pointyhatcast@gmail.com. Please send us any questions or comments, as well as any requests for movies for us to watch. So far, we have Back to the Future, as requested by Congers. Again, our email is pointyhatcast@gmail.com. Here's the movie intro. Shazam was released on April 2019 in the US. It was directed by David F. Sandberg, who also directed Annabelle. The screenplay was written by Henry Gayden. It stars Zachary Levi, Mark Strong, Asher Angel, Jack Dylan Grazer, and much more. Currently, as of this podcast, it has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 91% for critics and 84% for audience. Here is the movie blurb. We all have a superhero inside us. It just takes a bit of magic to bring it out. In Billy Batson's case, by shouting out one word, Shazam, the streetwise 14-year-old foster kid can turn into the grown-up superhero Shazam. Well, let's get into it. Anyone want to start? Because this movie is delightful.
I thought it was okay. I'm not going to say it was a great movie. It was good.
Yes.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I think that it was really refreshing to have a DC movie that has some comedy, some levity, and characters that you like. Especially,
Yeah.
Shazam's the first character that, well, I guess Wonder Woman, but, it's one of the first really sympathetic characters. Thought that cinematically it was okay. David F. Sandberg is a pretty good director. You can sort of tell in the construction of the movie that he's still a little bit inexperienced, especially working in this genre and working with probably this budget. He's always made smaller films, Annabelle Creation. I believe he got his start as a YouTuber, actually. He made some little YouTube short, little
really cool.
YouTube short horror films, and then he got picked up by a
Cool.
studio. Yeah, and you can tell that he's a horror director from some of the way he shoots and some of the themes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I enjoyed it a lot, but I think I take some issue with Zachary Levi's performance. It was okay. I think the Billy Batson is supposed to be 15, 14, something like that.
Yep.
And he kind of he kind of plays the character rather than 15, 14, more like 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, like a complete
it's a little
child.
over-exaggerated.
He missed the mark by a couple of years. It's not bad, but it's a little bit distracting. And I think the side characters are probably a little bit underdeveloped, underutilized.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's got a charm. It's got a little emotional core there. You can relate to the characters. You can understand their motivations, unlike, Batman v Superman.
Suicide Squad?
Unlike Suicide Squad, where you hate everyone and don't care or don't know their motivations. I also like that the family structure is dysfunctional, but remarkably positive. Usually in a story like this, it's like, everything sucks at home or something like that, but it's pretty positive. I like that it has a positive portrayal of the kind of the foster environment, although that's not necessarily, true to life.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
other than that, the little multicultural foster family thing is
It's
an
very
interesting.
nice.
It's an interesting dynamic. They definitely poke fun of it themselves. What was the line? Like, you're a crippled home kid in a foster home, in a group home. What better life could you have?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I got you. The action was all right. I like that the third act is basically making fun of Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, I
I
got that.
The whole sequence is just making fun of them, and I do appreciate that. But I enjoyed the movie, and I can recommend this rather than all the other DC movies that I can't recommend to like anyone.
Yeah, so far. All
It's
the
not even
misses.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I mean, Wonder Woman is kind of like a half recommendation. That movie fell apart so badly in the third act that
Yeah.
That is
It's,
true.
uh,
Yeah.
like it was at a full sprint. It was doing so well, and then it fell flat on its face right before the finish line.
It
It
fell
had
off
you
a
know?
so much
cliff.
potential.
Yeah.
Fell
Anyway,
off a cliff and got eaten by sharks.
Yeah. What'd you think, Isaiah?
Oh man, I actually really liked this movie. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised, because I was not used to DC movies like this. I was like, wow, I can actually see things.
Yeah, it's
Like
not a
that
very
dark?
miserable nightmare.
Yeah.
It's not just grime and darkness. It's like, wow, this is somewhat enjoyable.
Do you
bleed? Do you bleed? Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, I think that as a film, it definitely has a lot of weaknesses, but still, overall, I really enjoyed it, and it's like a fun movie to watch. And I can see why, like, it actually did so well. Yeah, I guess that I could also say, like, I would recommend this movie to people. I'd be like, this is the best DC movie besides Batman v Superman. Just kidding. This is the best, I'd say best DC movie besides Nolan's Batmans.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
those are pretty good.
Like, that's probably how...
Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
It's
that's a
not
whole
fair.
other category in itself. Like, that's not fair to compare to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The message of family,
Mm-hmm.
and I like how they played it where the message essentially became, like, sometimes your blood family is not, I guess, like, the better family for you, and it spins, like, a very positive light about, yeah, foster homes and stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe not exactly the most true to life for a lot of people and, like, their own personal stories, but some people have had really good positive relationships growing up in foster homes. So I felt like this movie was actually a really good representation of that.
Yeah.
So it was a very refreshing theme, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's refreshingly positive.
It is.
Yeah. It's not dark.
So dark.
I'm
I
so
think it is
angsty.
dark in some parts. So
Yeah,
I'll
a lot
get
of people
into
will
it,
just
yeah.
die.
Yeah.
That's
so,
true. People
yeah.
just die.
People just
There's a
die.
lot of murder.
Yeah. And they casually just, like, just don't address it.
Yeah, they don't address it. So for me, like, when I was watching the movie, I was expecting it to be bad. Like, I thought it was gonna be okay, because everyone that watched it told me that's a pretty decent movie. You know, they're kind of hesitant to say it was good. But I was like, it can't be worse than Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. And then it subverted my expectations right away in a good way from the very beginning of the movie. It's kind of dark, you know, for something that should be a kid's movie. Like, right away in the very beginning, the family's bagging on the little kid, the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you'll never grow up to be anything good. You're just terrible. Blah, blah, blah. And
It was
I
an
was like,
interesting musical
yeah.
choice in that scene too.
Oh, yeah.
Do you hear what I hear?
Yeah, oh, okay. I didn't catch that, but now that
Yeah.
you mentioned that fits really well. Yeah, and then it's pretty dark, like, and then there's a car crash. I
His
saw
dad
the,
gets
like,
paralyzed.
yeah, the dad's paralyzed. I
Yeah.
saw the horror tropes there where, like, it always makes you on edge because you know something's coming, but you don't know when it's coming. And, like, the first time you thought it was gonna crash, they're like, nope, everything's fine. And then when everything looks fine, all of a sudden they get whacked out of nowhere. And I was like, there it is. But that was more obvious when, you know, he's later a villain. And then he got the door open to Shazam's place. And the lady psychiatrist just touches the door, and all of a sudden she just, like, melts.
She just
She
boils
burns up.
away.
Yeah, she just boils away and drops into ash, and it's never addressed. He just walks through, it's never mentioned again. And I was like, that's a horror scene right there.
Yep.
Or like another part where he's in the bathroom, you know, checking the list of his potential moms, right? All of his mom's names, like, and the addresses, listing it off, and it was like a grimy bathroom and slowly zooming in. I don't know. It was building tension for me, even though nothing was happening. I was always on edge. I was like, is something gonna happen? Something gonna jump out? Man. But you can tell he's a horror director. Thematic elements like family, belonging, finding yourself, finding acceptance. It was there. It was there. You could follow it. They're developed. It's clear. The narrative's simple and to the point. It has everything that Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad is missing. And coincidentally, it's not directed by Zack Snyder. I'm just throwing it out there.
Coincidence?
Which is kind of funny if you get into Justice League and Aquaman, which I also enjoyed. Those two movies, actually. I'm excited to hear about you guys' opinion on those movies. I'll go over that in a future episode. But yeah, I thought it was great. Again, like, as a movie, is it a cinematic masterpiece? No, but I enjoyed it. And I thought that, yeah, it was a bit rough around the edges because this guy, he ain't used to it. But if I saw it as like the first entry into a series of movies with these characters, I think there's room for improvement because I saw
the Shazam League.
Yeah, no, really, yeah, Shazam. Like, apparently they find a seventh person. There's like 7 worlds they have to watch over, each of them, and like there's a whole story with like the caterpillar at the end, Mr. Mind, and like League of Villains. I didn't know who that was. I had to look it up, and they introduced him. So there's always that possibility of a Shazam sequel. But yeah, I thought it was well done. I thought it was smartly done. I know the side characters weren't fully developed, but I figured that was for time's sake, and they did the smart move of just kind of putting everything on the sidekick, the cripple. Like they gave him the most attention, and then they gave everyone else a little bit of time. But then going forward in future movies, I think they could develop these characters more. Also, that little girl Darla, she was so cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, usually I find those characters annoying, but she nailed it for me at least. I was like, oh, it's so adorable. I wish I had a baby sister like that. And also, she would make a terrible superhero.
Yeah, just like what, 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish when they grew up into their superhero forms, they would stop acting like kids a little bit more, Then it would make more sense.
Yeah, the portrayal of Shazam in comic books has been a little bit uneven over time. Sometimes he acts entirely like an adult, and then people remember that he's a kid, and then, stuff like that. It depends on who's writing him. In general, this is pretty close to the classic portrayal of Shazam.
Okay.
Yeah. I felt like when they did the first transition, like when everyone becomes like their adult superhero forms, for me that was super jarring. I was like, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, that shot was a little bit weird for me too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what it was. Maybe it was just the lens or something, but it felt a little bit off. Like I've said, a lot of the little, like, the camera angles or the way something's cut or the way he shoots things, you can kind of tell that he's not used to working in this space yet. I think it's a great first attempt.
Totally.
He'll probably grow into it, I think.
Yeah,
I think David F. Sandberg is pretty solid.
Absolutely.
But there's some really great shots, like the convenience store that wide shot of him is just so funny, and then he steps away and the kid is just sitting behind him.
Yeah. I would like some of your finest beer.
I love how he asks at the counter like it's a bar.
Yeah. That part, I thought they nailed it, where you got some teens, early teens, and they're like, let's go try some beer, and then they're like, this is gross, and then they just get like Red Bull. I don't know if they're sponsored by Red Bull or not, but he's always drinking Red Bull.
When in doubt, it's product placement.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's fine.
Anything with the label,
it wasn't obnoxious.
It wasn't
like
obnoxious.
Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
I love the immediate following Rocky references when they're up on the steps and they're just talking about Rocky too, and then they tie back to that later on when he actually does do the Rocky pose and he's like throwing lightning, and then the bus crashes because of him.
Yeah. Lightning from my hands.
He just like has his own music and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bus scene kind of highlights an issue with the DC universe. Marvel have
Mhm.
done a really good job of baking very believable physics into their movies. Like when Iron Man punches a guy, you're like, man, that felt real. It's part sound design,
Yeah.
part cinematography, part just care and how they animate everything. But the issue with the bus scene is like
It
the
looks
bus.
wonky.
Well, it's a little bit wonky in the way it drops and the
Mhm.
way it holds,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then like it's the classic dilemma of they dropped 50 feet regardless of the fact that he stopped them,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
He
Yeah, yeah.
basically prevented them from dropping an additional 3 or 4 feet, right? So they're still all pretty messed up, all right?
Mhm.
That's just physics. They still fell. All that kinetic energy,
And they
it's not
hit
good for
the
organs.
bus. Yep.
And then like it was well shot, which makes it forgivable. Like when they're all plopping down to the front of the bus, and he throws like the mattress down, and the guy just looks at him like, "Are you kidding me?"
With the dog in the background, he's
Yeah.
like, "Move, move."
Yeah. And then when he's holding the bus, it's just like he's got his palms like on the glass. I'm like, I don't think that's load bearing glass.
He's like,
But
"Yep, that
It's
would
already
definitely not
cracked
hold."
too.
it's
Yeah.
like, it's fine. It's fine. This isn't that kind of movie,
Yeah,
but
it's not.
I would like
Yeah.
to see them take more care with stuff like that so that it doesn't pull you out of the moment.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. Watching Justice League and Aquaman as well, is that Marvel did a fantastic job of putting these directors in, like you said, these smaller directors and actors, because they're cheaper, but also giving them enough support and like integrating them into the MCU where everything seems kind of seamless. You kind of see the inner workings less. It just seems like a smooth product. Whereas with the DC universe, you kind of see it more. It's like very inconsistent, the movies themselves and how the movies kind of connect to each other. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
like the tone and feel of Shazam and like how it fits into the universe completely different than Aquaman. Like everything's all over the place, and like you can even in the movie itself is kind of the pacing's a little off.
Yeah. Another thing too that helps bring in, because I remember you guys were talking a lot about,
Yeah.
or we were just mentioning how like in the Discord how it feels like such a miscast having like Amber Heard and what was the other guy's name?
William Dafoe.
Yeah, William Dafoe in like Aquaman. I think another reason why Marvel is so successful is because of literally one woman. Her name is Sarah Finn.
Oh
and
yeah, she's brilliant.
She's been the casting director for every single Marvel movie, I think, besides the first Hulk movie.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why all the actors and like, yeah, everything feels so seamless.
Yeah, they
And it
fit.
feels like they fit inside the world. Whereas in like DC, I feel like it's very, very inconsistent in terms of who the actors are and the roles they play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Ben Affleck Batman. I'm still not feeling the Ben Affleck Batman.
I like Batfleck though.
I'm not a huge fan. Christian Bale is always my
Ooh.
for me, he will have my heart forever.
What if it was Johnny Depp? That would be
Well,
a different
no.
movie.
It's
No,
going to
absolutely
be
not.
It's going to be the pale vampire guy from the Twilight series. That's the new one.
Edward
Are
Cullen.
you serious right now?
Yeah, I'm 100% serious. That's what they've cast.
Who? Snyder?
I don't know who cast him, but he's gonna be Batman now.
Yeah, apparently
I
he's
get-
Batman now, and that's gonna.
I guess
Be just
it
great.
kind of makes sense. He's a pale vampire guy, and now he's gonna be Batman.
He lives in a
Batman.
cave, never sees the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vampire Batman.
No, like, see, this is the problem because Shazam, I think they did a fantastic job. I think it's funny because I think the director just used people from Annabelle because the girl, Mary, is also from Annabelle.
Yeah,
The oldest daughter, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of funny. But then you look at the list of people that Snyder wanted for Batman v Superman, and it doesn't fit the characters. Let me look up. There were some of them that were so bad, like Angelina Jolie for Wonder Woman, and I was like,
That what?
no, no, please.
She's Tomb Raider. What do you mean?
Yes, you can Tomb Raider. Yeah, fine, that's fine. But like Wonder Woman, okay, whatever. Or let's see, what's another one that threw me off. Okay, I don't have the list in front of me, but Bradley Cooper for Flash, that would have been perfect.
That would have been pretty good.
It didn't work out.
I think that would have been entertaining.
Yeah.
But Bradley Cooper as Rocket is...
It's ace.
It's
completely ace.
Yeah.
Top tier. A-class.
A-class.
A-class hero.
S-class. S-class.
S-class. Oh, okay.
S-class.
But one thing I did notice, I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like they're slowly kind of trying to edge away from Snyder and giving these smaller directors a little bit more wiggle space to do.
No, it's
their
100% true. You're on the money.
Right? Okay, yeah, because I feel like if you watch the other movies, because we're going to talk about Justice League and Aquaman later too, but like this movie felt completely different. It didn't feel like it was in love with itself and just miserable like Snyder's movies. The tone was way different. You don't want it to be way different though. You know, it has to be consistent with all the other movies. Yeah. But holy cow, it was refreshing.
Yeah, I'll talk about this a little bit more when we talk about Justice League, but I'm pretty sure Snyder's out
forever.
Completely.
I'm not sure about completely, but they definitely, somebody in a position of power has recognized the problem.
Wow, three movies later, you think?
Yeah. I'll mention it briefly here, but I mean, they brought in, everybody knows that they brought in Joss Whedon onto Justice League. And
that's going to be amazing.
They didn't do it later in the production. They did it about halfway through. He came in to kind of punch up the script, add in some humor, and then at some point, and there's more to say about this, but at some point, they had Zack Snyder retire to the farm, and Joss Whedon came in and not only did the script, he started doing reshoots.
Yeah, he reshot like 30% of the movie.
Yeah, reshoots, edits. Anytime you see Superman with the weird rubber lip, that's a reshoot.
Yeah.
That's the tell.
The CGI.
I was like, is that Henry Cavill? Why does it look so different?
Yeah, that man, it's real distracting. Because he was contractually obligated to keep a beard for Mission Impossible, which he was filming at the time. So that's why. Yeah, that's why. They couldn't do it with prosthetics or, just make it like a deep fake or something. Instead, they had to do that crappy CGI lip that cost reportedly like $4 million or something.
Yeah, it cost a few mil just to be able to do that. God, imagine if that was your job, just sitting at your desk, animating frame by frame, trying to get every hair of the mustache out. God.
I hope I got paid a lot for that.
I would quit immediately. It's like, man, when I became an animator, I aspired to be this artist making wonderful movies.
It's removing hair.
Here I am removing Henry Cavill's mustache hair by hair.
It's not great.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit deeper later on. It's worth mentioning here. But bringing in David F. Sandberg is a great choice. I hope they bring in more interesting directors.
What has he worked on? David S. Sandberg?
Yeah, I mean he came off of Annabelle Creation, I think.
What if they only use horror directors? Because the director for Aquaman is also a horror director.
I mean, it's a pretty common thing. It used to be even more common.
Has he done anything outside of horror?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
It used to be much more common where directors would make like little horror films, like little B horror films as a kind of like a proof of concept, and then they would be elevated into like a more serious role. And it's kind of coming back into the light now. And like you have, who was it? Key, he did like Lights Out and Us. and he's getting like a lot more directorial roles. He's directing the Twilight Zone, I think, at the moment.
Oh, okay.
That series.
Ooh.
And then you have like David F. Sandberg. A few of the directors from Marvel have also come from horror, I think.
You know what that means, right? We have to make horror movies now.
Yeah,
That's
I
our
mean,
that's our
it's,
end.
That's how you make your way.
it's
yeah,
a solid.
and then we'll find Pointy Hat Guy. That's how we do it.
He'll be the lead now.
It will.
Yeah, it's a good genre to get your feet wet in because, like, you can really punch up emotions with horror. They're generally very cheap to make.
That is true. Yeah, like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, it costs like
Yeah.
$5.
They're like, here's a bunch of tents. All right, we're giving each of you a camera. Have fun.
Yeah, here's a camcorder.
Yeah,
Found footage.
you can do a lot with very little in the horror genre, as opposed to like a big tentpole superhero or sci-fi fantasy film.
Because
that
a
takes
lot of it is
millions.
about what you don't show in
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah.
That's such a big part of like making compelling horror films is the soundtrack and not showing the audience things.
Yeah, it's a good way to test a director's chops. Like, give them a
Mhm.
camera, give them a cast, a little bit of money, and see what they can make of it. I'm happy that that's kind of come back because it's giving us interesting directorial choices like this, and
Yeah.
it looks to be that's the road forward, right? It's how these giant mega corporations are going to make movies. Just get a director for real cheap, throw him some cast, a crew, and then turn out movies and make a bajillion dollars.
Yeah, Aquaman made over $1 billion gross worldwide. It just blows my mind. Total.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of incomprehensible to me.
Yeah.
I guess Justice League didn't do enough damage.
But I like Justice League though. I'm gonna get into that later. I wanted to hate it, but I couldn't. But going back to Shazam though, yeah, the family theme though, I really did like the family theme because
Yeah.
it was kind of realistic. Like, it's not saying that it's nice or it's good. It's more like this is all you got, and it's up to you to accept it or not and make the best of it. And that's oftentimes the case for anyone, for any situation in life. Like, it's never gonna be ideal, and you're always looking for this fairy tale happy ending, and you don't get it. And it's just like, well, this is home. You can choose to call it home, or just keep running away and looking for something that doesn't exist. And
Yeah.
I thought it was such a different kind of theme or moral, or like just in a movie where usually you get a fairy tale happy ending, whereas in this case, it's like, oh, it kind of sucks,
The
but
magic
it's
was
not
in
that
you
bad.
all along.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I really like the mom and dad characters.
I love the mom and dad characters.
Yeah, like they're just trying their best because they're foster kids too in the movie, and they understand, and they're honestly just trying their best to provide a place where they do their best to love these kids, and hopefully they accept it. And I don't know, it felt like this guy knew some foster kids or kind of experienced these same kind of feelings growing up, and having a movie like based on that, it was great. It's like Fast and the Furious. It's about family.
About family.
About family.
It's actually about
We should
family.
do the Fast and Furious movies
Yeah.
next.
And the writing for that is also prevalent because in the very beginning, it's very humorous when the wizard guy is like, "Touch my staff, and my power will flow through you." And
My power
like
will flow
yeah,
through
and
you.
the Billy Batson's like, "You," because it's like, it sounds dirty,
Yeah, you're just like, ew.
Yeah, ew. It's like, ew. But then it's like, I open up my heart to you, right? And then like, and at the end, it's mirrored, because then it's for him to win, he has to open up his heart to these foster brothers and sisters, accept them, and then power comes through that. He literally said, "My brothers and sisters, the thrones are empty," right? And then he's like, "Oh man, I got brothers and sisters here. If I accept them, then I don't have to defeat this bad guy by myself." The bad
Yeah.
guy being just life in
Yeah.
general, because they're the 7 deadly sins. So you're navigating
that
life.
was
Yeah. Yeah, navigating life through the power of family.
It's almost like when you set up an emotional beat and pay it off later, it
Yeah.
makes a good movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
What was the emotional
Crazy.
beat again for Batman v Superman?
Martha!
Martha. That's right. They show so many scenes.
That's my mother's name.
Yeah, dude. Do you know what pisses me off? Because you know that they're paying off for that scene because in every scene where Batman's parents died, it's always Martha because you don't care about the dad. In fact, you don't even know his name if you're not paying attention 100%. Based on
Thomas
the movie.
Wayne.
I know it's Thomas. Thomas the Train.
Thomas the Tank.
Yeah, Thomas the Tank. But like, there's this, the dad says Martha, and they show that a couple of times. When Batman has a nightmare, you see Martha on the tombstone. Like, it's always Martha. The name's there. It's prevalent. And then the scene comes, and then it's like, oh, how do you know Martha? She's my mom. And you're just like, this is stupid.
Your eyes just roll into the back of your head.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, that's so
I saw
intelligent.
all the memes going into that, and I was still unprepared for how bad it was.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
When it came, I was like, oh god, this is even worse than I imagined.
Yeah. and that's the problem with Snyder, because he's like, oh, this is awesome, this is deep, this is smart, but like, you don't really develop the mom character, like Martha Wayne. I don't know
Or
who she
their
is
relationship,
and why I
like,
should.
in
Yeah,
any
the
way.
relationship.
Yeah.
Why I should care. Whereas if you look at Shazam, I know exactly why, and they didn't spend much time on it. But you're like, this little boy lost his mom, and he's so guilty because he thought that it was his fault, right? She left him, obviously. He didn't want to accept it, but he thought it was his fault. And that's just a sad thing, and like, you feel for this character. It's not perfect, it's not perfect in any way, the writing, the acting, all of that. But like, compare that to Batman v Superman and the Martha scene. Oh, this
Frickin'
wins an
masterpiece.
Oscar. Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
This movie might as well be a masterpiece in comparison.
Honestly, though, oh my.
Yeah.
It's just because
Yeah.
they used basic cinema. Sets,
yeah.
Create characters that have pathos and relatability, set up emotional beats for them and pay them off later. Don't shoot your movie like it's a miserable nightmare. It's just cinema 101, right?
Yeah.
I remember watching Batman v Superman, and I was just like, gotta turn the brightness all the way up.
Is there any way I
still
can
couldn't
crank
see
the
half the film.
saturation on my TV so I can see what's happening?
It's like the same people, it's the same response that the Game of Thrones people gave, and it's like, oh, your TVs aren't set correctly, you're not watching it right, it's not too dark, you just don't understand it. You just don't understand the cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, we're just all too dumb to understand how
Exactly.
genius Batman v Superman is.
Clearly. Do you know what blows my mind? There are people out there who saw Justice League and said, this is a garbage movie because of Joss Whedon. We want Snyder back. We want the 3-hour Snyder cut because whatever Whedon did made it so much worse. And I was like, are you insane? There are people out there who's going to watch Shazam and say, this wasn't directed by Snyder. It's trash. I'm not gonna watch
Which is
this
funny because
trash.
Zack Snyder has sole directorial credit.
I know.
Really? Joss Whedon's not even mentioned?
Whedon's not
Just-
credited.
Whedon gets zero
What?
credit.
Yeah, he chose not to be credited. Oh, I don't know if he chose to do it or not, but yeah, he's not credited, even though he did direct most. I would say
Maybe he
most
was
of it,
like,
a lot of it.
I
I would
polished
love.
this garbage piece of turd,
Yeah.
but it's still a
I
piece of
polished
turd,
this-
so I will not put my name on it.
I've literally polished the turd until it's shown,
Yeah.
and now I refuse to put. I wonder if he refused to put his name on it, or if it was a studio decision.
I can
I
see him
don't
refusing to
know.
just do it.
I could see him refusing to,
Yeah.
put his name on it.
I mean,
Yeah.
after like going public with him not liking Marvel, I can imagine being like, I'm done with this. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that was a messy
What
divorce.
did he do Marvel-wise?
Age of
What did
Ultron and Avengers 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then the Russo brothers were the later
They
Avengers
inherited
films.
his throne.
Yeah, that's true. Apparently, it was like he was dealing with too much stress from filming that he just wanted to retire.
We didn't just
right?
we didn't. It was a messy shoot, and then he just hated working with the like the Marvel think tank, like the creative committee. Not Kevin Feige, but the CEO of Disney essentially created this creative committee of dickheads who make decisions like female. They disallowed females as main characters as like their first rule.
What?
So they
what?
didn't want a female superhero. They didn't want a female supervillain. Okay.
Is that why it took so long to get both of those?
Yeah, and also they didn't want a female director. Okay, so they were just straight up
Yikes.
like misogynists.
Yeah.
They're
Why?
straight up sexist. I don't know why. I mean, but those were their directives, and they were very argumentative with like Joss Whedon. They're part
I
of
would
the
hate
reason.
that.
They're part of the reason why Thor: Dark World was a mess. They're part of the reason why Ant-Man, the director, left Ant-Man.
Edgar Wright.
Patty Jenkins was originally supposed to direct Thor 2.
Dark World.
Yeah, Patty Jenkins was originally supposed to do that. It's why.
That would have been a very interesting film.
Yeah.
I would have watched that. Yeah, that would be really good.
That would have been great. She was supposed to be the director. It's why. What's her name?
Natalie
Portman. It's why she came back for Thor 2, and then the creative committee said no, we want a male director.
Wow.
And they fired her. And then she went on to make Wonder Woman. So they're idiots.
Yeah.
And
Sucks.
But why just specify it based on gender and not like skill or like merit?
I don't know. They're dumb.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot more context to this. I'm kind of simplifying it.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige has recently been able to kind of wrest power away from them, which is why we got like Captain Marvel and
Oh,
Thor
okay.
stuff.
Captain Marvel's not a good.
It wasn't
I
great,
don't
but
know.
at least we got a female
I'll
superhero.
just view Thor Ragnarok as the shining example.
Yes, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Strong female villain.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett.
What a great villain. Just hamming it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So good. And like Captain Marvel though, I think he went too far.
If it was,
Direction.
I think if it was just a buddy cop film and they really stuck with that, that would have been an
Heck,
amazing movie.
Yeah, buddy cop
I would
movie.
have.
Like,
I would have loved that. Yeah.
dude,
was
have
just-
Taika in on that. Oh man.
Yeah,
It's
if it
not
was
even gonna
just
be like no
if it's just
fight
them
scenes.
like
Yeah.
hanging out on Earth
Yeah,
and like having little misadventures, it would have been a better film.
that
but
would be amazing.
It's like, stop blowing up jukeboxes. We keep getting kicked out of bars.
That would have been amazing. But yeah,
Okay, back to Shazam. Anyway, that was
Yeah,
kind of a
back
long
to Shazam.
tangent. Kind of a long tangent. But
it's okay. It's okay.
he's just talking about like the super mega giants business that's behind all these movies,
Yeah.
And when you see casting choices and you see directorial choices, you kind of read between the lines and understand kind of what's going on.
Totally. I mean, you hate to see, the money, but it's always there.
I want to
Yeah, that's
talk
true.
about the conference room scene because I really liked it and how violent it was.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Dude, I was not prepared for that. I was like, wait, this is not the movie I thought it would be.
Yeah, right? Like you think it's like this kid-friendly movie and it's so much death?
No, you're completely wrong. This is the scene that convinced me that I could recommend this movie to children.
Really? What?
This is what children need: is horrifying violence.
Okay.
It's what children need, Sam.
Oh,
you're right,
Oh,
you're right,
it was so violent. I mean, when I was a
RoboCop.
kid, I watched like RoboCop, and I was scarred for like a
Yeah.
month.
Okay, actually, you're right. You got a good point there. You got a good point.
It was great. I watched when I was a kid. I watched like RoboCop, Alien.
Terminator.
like-
Man, that's so true.
That scared me
Terminator.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and
The
like
shotgun scene where he shoots him
Die
in the head.
Hard, where just people are getting murdered and ripped apart. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm 5.
Yep. Sounds
Or
about
like,
right.
oh my god, I'm scarred for life.
Yeah, that's what kids need, dude.
Okay,
Don't raise them on this family friendly whatever nonsense. No, kids need horrifying violence.
You're
That's
right.
what's good
John
for
Wick
them.
2. That's what they need.
Exactly.
Perfect kids
Exactly.
movie.
John Wick 3. Best
John
kids
Wick
film
3.
ever made.
I mean John Wick
Yeah.
3. Sorry, John Wick 3, not John Wick 2.
God.
But that scene was so like this giant gargoyle monster just bites somebody's head off and throws their body out the window. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's just lovely. Just lovely.
And
I
And-
do appreciate
yeah.
the shock value, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you could
Yeah.
tell it's a horror movie because they do that scene where the guard's outside. It's like, oh, normal. And then he's like, oh my God, what's happening? And then people are like trying to escape by hitting the conference wall. And it's like the semi-transparent thing or just like their bodies are against it, that kind of scene. And I was like, holy cow, dude, just imagine if this was a full horror film. Like you could see it.
Yeah, you're just like, no,
Yeah.
That would be a
this is
wild
dragged
ride if
away.
Shazam
I'm
was
like,
an actual, like, full-on horror film.
yeah. Full on horror. That's what we need.
Well, we were going to get that New Mutants movie, which looked like a straight up horror film, but I think
Yeah, it does.
that's gone. I don't know. I
Oh,
haven't heard
really?
anything about
What
it. I
hap-
think
what
it's been
happened to it?
canceled.
What? No way. I thought it was coming out
That's
soon.
so sad.
I think since Disney purchased Fox, they may have looked at the film and said, no.
We will not put our name on this.
This is-
So far, it's scheduled for 2020, April 2020, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe
You're
they'll just
right.
scrap the whole project and start
No,
again.
I think you got a point there because usually they always like advertise it. You know, they put some marketing behind these movies.
Oh yeah, Disney puts a lot of money advertising their films.
Maybe it'll be like a straight to DVD movie, straight to Disney.
Straight to
Plus.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of hyped for that though. Disney Plus as a streaming platform. Like
I'm not.
Yeah.
I hate the entire idea of it.
Really?
Because it's just further fragmenting streaming.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
there's
that's
just
very
too many
true.
services, man. And now that Disney owns
Yeah.
Fox, the number of properties that they could potentially pull away from Netflix and Amazon Prime and all the other ones, Hulu, is staggering. It's staggering the number
Yeah.
of movies that will suddenly become unavailable on third-party platforms. And
But-
every fucking network has their own streaming platform now. ESPN streaming, NBC,
Yeah.
NBC Plus.
They're gonna make their own platform.
ABC, HBO.
Yeah, HBO streaming.
Hulu, Netflix,
It's too
Amazon.
much. There was a-
Vudu,
There was a
Sling.
golden area. There was like a golden era when you could just pay like maybe $30 a month for like a couple streaming services to get the programming you wanted. And now there's so many. Okay, nobody's going to sign up for 20 different streaming platforms. Okay,
Yeah,
It's
they
That's
are.
ridiculous.
exactly the point.
it's ridiculous.
Like,
But all right, counterpoint. I think that this will be a new golden age of content because with the creation of all these streaming platforms, in order to increase viewership and bring in new viewers to their platforms, I think a lot of shows will step out in new and interesting directions in order to like create new content, refreshing content to bring people that is exclusive to their streaming platforms. So I think that with this new period, like there will be a lot of new spin-off Disney TV shows. There'll be a lot of new Amazon Prime specials. There'll be a lot
Actually,
of new
yeah.
like Hulu
There
TV
already-
shows.
There already
Yeah,
are,
which
but
they're already doing. But I think that
we're not gonna get that. I'm not signing up for 20 streaming services to watch. Like I'm not gonna sign up for NBC Plus to watch Star Trek
no.
Discovery
Your point
because
is very valid.
first of all, Star Trek Discovery is a garbage show. Um, oh, it's terrible. And then they're gonna have the Picard show, Star
Oh
Trek
yeah,
Picard,
that's right.
which is also gonna be terrible based on the trailer and the production staff. It's gonna be Alex Kurtzman.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
Lost.
Yeah, no,
What
it's
is
gonna be
this?
like Lost or like the Star
It
Trek
was only
movie.
just a dream.
Yeah.
The Star Trek
It's
movie was fine
purgatory.
as a movie, but for a series format, it's gonna be terrible.
I love the Star Trek movies, like the
Yeah, I
newer
like them,
ones.
but
They're very
that's-
entertaining.
That's not the
Really?
tone for like a series, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like Next
no.
Generation was my favorite. I watched Voyager.
It's
I
like
watched
too
a little
much.
bit of the original.
Yeah,
Deep
Well,
Space Nine.
though those series are wonderful and extremely boring, and and nobody's
Yeah.
gonna watch them anymore. I think, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's kind of
think
true.
I think the whatever they do with those shows is just gonna be bad. And then you have like what is it, Doom Patrol for
Doom
the
Patrol?
DC streaming app. I'm sure
What?
you've
I
seen.
have no idea
I'm
what that
sure you've
is.
seen ads
Nope.
for the. It's
Nope.
like a cheap superhero team up ensemble like show.
Is it like
Patrol.
Netflix where they had the Defenders and it was like
something like that.
B, C list heroes team up?
Yeah, you have there are like tons of shows like exactly like that you've never heard of that exist solely in these niche streaming platforms, and we're never gonna see them because I'm not signing up for that crap.
Yeah. The Amazon one, I'm kind of interested in. What is it? The Boys?
With Carl, I'm only interested in it because it has Carl Urban, and he's great.
Yeah, it's like they're kind of mocking superheroes. So if they
Oh,
do a fantastic job with it, I'm down.
It
Amazon
gave me
makes
the
some good stuff. Like
Yeah.
Mr. Robot, incredible.
they had what Man in the High Castle. They had
Mhm.
the Grand Tour, which was fun. They have lots of original content that's done very well, and they're not afraid to
Yeah.
throw $100 bajillion at it because they just print money all day.
Yeah. But a
Off-
lot of them are like
Yeah.
smaller directors, casts without any real acting experience, and they just throw money at them. And I
Yeah.
think that's awesome. Like, that's the content that I want to watch, right?
Absolutely, but
yeah.
I'm okay with the Amazon one just because I'm already a filthy consumerist and I already have a Prime account.
Same.
I'm
Same.
not okay with it. I'm slowly trying to not shop at Amazon because of
Sam,
their
your whole
business
livelihood
structure.
is sponsored by Amazon.
I know. We're being sponsored by
Twitch
Amazon. It's like, do you accept turning everyone into basically a slave labor force? I'm like, oh, all right, as long as I get paid for it, I guess. I don't know.
As long as
No,
I'm
not
getting
fine
paid,
with it.
right?
We're not, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what else is there to say about this film except it's just a fun. It's almost quaint. It almost feels
Yeah.
old fashioned at this point. Just
Yeah, that's a
bare
really good way to put
bones
that.
like a bare bones origin story that's just fun, and has all the little scenes where they're playing with their powers and figuring it out. And you're like, oh, wow, it's been like 20 years since I've seen a movie like this. It's not since Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, right?
Oh, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire.
In fact, I got a
no.
lot of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man vibes from this movie. I feel like Sandberg might have been taking a lot of inspiration from it.
Yeah, for me,
No.
I thought it was great. It was the whole package. Everything is developed pretty fully. Doesn't really skip over anything. Like, all aspects of the movie are there. It's very solid. The narrative, again, very simple. The acting is pretty solid. It's not very consistent at parts, but overall as a whole, I think it's fantastic. I think it captures kind of the imagination of a kid a little bit, and what it's like to be a superhero and just wanting to belong. And I think they do a fantastic job with it.
I think the only thing I have left to talk about is that final scene, the final action scene. It's okay.
Yeah, it's just
Uh,
alright.
The best part about it is how they make fun of the Batman v Superman garbage.
Yeah,
with the
that
Man
is
of Steel
so
stuff.
good.
With the little kid like smashing Batman and Superman together.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, okay. I'll give you a little tiny clap there.
Tiny golf
Or
clap.
I loved when they're like a mile away from each other and they're just yelling, and he's like, "I will destroy you." And I was like,
Yeah.
what?
He's like,
What?
delivering
You're like
your
a mile
supervillain
away.
now.
I don't hear anything.
You're like
Yeah,
so far away.
I love how they
Yeah.
subvert that trope. It's so
Oh
well
yeah,
done.
that was good. I was just making fun of all these superhero movie tropes. It's
Yeah, and the film does a lot of that, and I really
yeah.
am thankful and enjoy that. They subvert and make fun of a lot of
Yeah,
superhero tropes.
they did do a lot of that. Also, the humor in this movie is very dark, but also like childlike and dark at the same time, where they're testing out if he has powers or not, and they're at the convenience store trying to buy beer, right? And he's getting robbed, and they shoot him, and it's like he's bulletproof, right? And then
It's
Freddy's
like,
like,
oh, shoot his face.
shoot him in the face. Yeah, we gotta see if it's a costume or not. And then they shoot him in the face, and then he's like, "Oh, your skin is bulletproof." But what if he wasn't? He would have died.
He just died.
Yeah, he would.
That would have been a great movie right there.
That would have been funny. Like it would have been tragic and horrifying because the guy got shot in the face. But
And then the next hour of the film is just them at the funeral.
yeah, at the funeral.
That'd be
and
so dark.
Oh.
Yeah, but the humor's so dark there. But like as a kid, you don't really think about the consequences, you know? Just how a kid thinks.
Yeah. Did you catch the big reference when they're running through like
On the
mall?
pianos.
Yeah, the piano keys.
Oh no, I didn't.
I caught that. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was also another little Easter egg slipped in there where he throws the Batman toy at him and he goes, "I'm Batman."
Yeah,
That's Kevin Conroy. That's the voice of animated
Oh
Batman.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So they got him into the studio to deliver this one line.
Just one line. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. It was so good.
Oh, okay.
It was so. I took a moment there. I'm like, was that Kevin Conroy? It was. Wow.
So
Yeah.
this is a reverse Odin situation
Yeah.
Yeah.
where they call him in to deliver one line.
I'm sure he was absolutely pleased to do it because, by all accounts, he's a great guy and loves
Yeah.
doing the work.
I think if I played and had the opportunity to play such like an iconic character, I would jump at any opportunity to do something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
I think
Fun.
I've heard him in an interview. He's mentioned that after 9/11, he just kind of quietly volunteered. He volunteered in like a kitchen that was feeding
Okay.
like the first responders.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And like everybody was like super sad, and it was like really chaotic and depressing. And the manager there was trying to perk up all like the firefighters and police officers. He's like, guys, you wouldn't believe it, but we've got Batman in the kitchen right now. Like, get out of here! And then Kevin Conroy from the kitchen is just like, I am the night, I am darkness, I am Batman. And they're like, holy shit, it's fucking Batman.
It's Batman.
It's
Oh
Batman.
my.
I would do that. I would do that all the time, dude. Non-stop.
Yeah.
It's such an iconic character, such an iconic voice.
Mm-hmm.
But just a little side Kevin Conroy quip there. He's still doing it. They've got a
Mhm.
few different actors now that are kind of starting to take over, but he still does Batman for the video games as well as some of the animated movies and cartoons.
Wow. Not
Speaking of
bad,
that,
dude. Not
yeah.
bad.
Like Mark Hamill does Joker, obviously, but there was a scene where he was voicing like 4 of the villains at the same time. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, that man's got talent.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He also had full voice actor bod before Star Wars. They had to lose a lot of weight for that.
Obviously, when the only thing you move is your voice.
Yeah. I guess I'll give my closing thoughts on the movie. I don't know
Right.
if there's much
Yeah,
else to talk
exactly.
about.
And then,
Yeah.
and then rating.
Yeah.
Fun movie. Definitely recommended to kids. The horrific violence is exactly what every child needs. Some great comedic elements. Lots of has a nice little emotional core.
Mhm.
It's a little bit uneven. You can see some of the experience showing, but overall, it's a fun movie. I would probably give this. I'll give it 5 Suicide Squads.
Oh, okay.
5 Suicide Squads.
Okay. I guess for me, I'd say 6.5 Suicide Squads.
6.5. Okay.
Yeah, 6.5, because I think that of all the DC movies, this is like of the newer DC movies, I think that this is probably my favorite.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So not exactly like the strongest, but I think for what it is, it's really impressive. And it's like a gold star amongst the sea of garbage, you know?
Yeah, totally.
It's the shining turd
Yeah.
in the sea of turds.
Exactly.
It's been polished super hard into that ball, you know, the Japanese turd polishing to turn it into a
Yeah.
perfect sphere.
Yeah.
Like the aluminum tinfoil balls.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
people make.
exactly
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Except they do it
It's
with
one of
turd
those.
or dirt.
They did it on Mythbusters, by the way. They proved that you can, in fact, polish a turd.
Really?
That's
oh, yeah.
amazing.
People do it. Yeah. All
We
right.
should just title this episode "The Polished Turd."
Polished turd? That's too mean. It's better than a polished turd,
It's
though.
better than I think Justice League is a polished turd.
Justice
one's
League. Oh, I think it's pretty good too. All right, we'll get into that though.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna revise my score. I think
Yeah.
I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6.
6
Okay,
Suicide
okay.
Squads.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's a little bit better than perfectly average.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, I thought I'm gonna give it a 7. By the way, 7 Suicide Squads. All
Okay,
right.
okay.
We have to clarify that so people don't think we're rating it like out of 10 or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, our scale is special. It has no maximum and it has no minimum.
Our minimum is Suicide Squad.
Yeah, our minimum is Suicide Squad. You're right, but it's
The
like
scale
very
of
low. It's
Suicide
like
Squad
negative infinity.
to
You know?
Infinity question mark.
Yeah, question mark. I highly recommend this movie. I think this movie gives me hope in that DC can actually make decent movies. I wouldn't say good movies quite yet. Decent movies. I think if they grow these directors and give them support instead of trying to micromanage them, you can see fantastic things happen here because Shazam was delightful. It's a very solid film. And if you give them all of the DC universe to work with, you're gonna have endless possibilities.
Yeah, they got a deep roster.
Yeah, they do, and you don't have to go deep in the superhero stuff because what people want to see are relatable characters with a little bit of superhero sprinkling on the top. You know, because in the end of the day, regardless of what superpowers they have, you want to be able to relate to these people. And for Shazam, after all the terribleness that was Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, you finally found a movie where like I can relate to these characters on some level. I can relate to the things happening on some level, and that's why I think this movie is highly recommendable, especially to children.
Especially to children.
Yeah.
Especially the kids.
Yeah, especially
Take,
to kids. Life is
take
rough.
little
Deal
Jimmy.
with it. Yeah, little Jimmy
Well,
also.
take little Jimmy, 4 or 5-year-old Jimmy, and be like, "This is what happens when you rip somebody's head off, Jimmy,"
Yeah,
and throw them through a window.
that's right.
They die.
Yeah, they die. This is what happens when your parents think you're gonna be a failure. You just end up trying to be the supervillain and kill everyone.
Yeah. Don't be mean
Yeah.
to your kids.
Yeah, don't be mean to your kids. That's right, Jimmy Olsen. He just grows up and then he turns into a CIA agent and dies a meaningless death.
As a quick side note,
Yeah.
if you enjoyed this movie, one that you should be looking out for in the future, I haven't heard any news in a bit, but Booster Gold.
Suicide Squad 2.
No. Booster Gold was supposedly in production.
What?
And
What's that?
he's a similar sort of kind of goofy hero.
Okay.
Well, has a bit of context. Booster Gold he's literally just a guy. He's just some guy, but he's
Yeah.
from the space future, and he steals a set of power armor and goes back in time so he can be famous.
Are you serious?
That's his whole bit. It's really
I
dumb.
like this already.
Yeah, and his character is just like a massive idiot, and he's constantly fucking up, and it's kind of fun.
Okay.
He's like a running joke.
I'm looking forward to that movie then.
Yeah, like for example, to show you where he stands in DC, when Superman fought Doomsday, Booster Gold's contribution was to get the shit kicked out of him and then punched into space, and that's what he did.
Oh, he's kind of like Team Rocket in Pokemon then.
Yeah, he got punched into space, and then Superman catches him, and he's like, "Bro, what is odd?" And Booster Gold's like, "Doomsday," and that was Booster Gold.
Okay.
That's his contribution to DC. So you can be cautiously optimistic about that.
There's a Stargirl TV
Yeah, we'll see.
show coming out.
A what girl TV show?
Stargirl.
Stargirl.
Yeah.
Starfire?
Who
No,
dat?
Stargirl.
Stargirl. I don't even know who that is.
I don't know what that is.
She's like female Captain America, but she's a wizard.
Okay,
What?
whatever. Oh, okay. Now I remember now. Yeah. DC has some of the best and some of the worst heroes and villains. Like Tigress and Captain Freeze Guy.
Captain Cold?
Captain Freeze guy.
Yeah, he's like
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
no. That's a completely different character. Okay,
Are you
Mr.
talking about
Freeze.
Captain Cold?
Yeah, Captain Cold, the Flash's
Yeah.
villain. He's like
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze,
Oh.
but a little bit crappier in every way.
He
he's
just
just
has
a
a
guy-
cold
bit
gun.
crappier.
Yeah, he's just got an ice gun. He's wearing like a parka and he looks super goofy.
Yeah.
Wait, he's in
He's in
what's
the Injustice
that TV
game.
show?
He's what? He's in The Flash. He's also in Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Legends of
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Mr. Cold
yeah.
Guy.
His brother is a hot guy, fire guy.
Just as fire. Yeah.
Fire guy.
Oh, I actually like the TV series. They're like
Should we talk
crappy
about
in a
Legends
way
of
I can
Tomorrow?
appreciate.
And like Arrow and Flash, the TV shows.
Yeah, dude, they were good until they got real bad to the point where it's just like garbage now. But yeah,
Yeah. I enjoyed like early Flash and
early
early
Arrow.
Arrow. Yeah, were really good.
Yeah,
The crossover episodes were the best for me.
Yeah.
Because then it's kind of fun and refreshing. Like
yeah,
when-
it's fun and
That's true.
refreshing. But at that point, it was getting pretty bad though. That's when I stopped.
It was getting
watching.
stale. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the crossover episodes are always fun because the
Yeah.
characters get to interact in new ways.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
When Flash jumps into Supergirl's world, and he's like, "Man, I need like 20,000 calories a day. Do you guys want to go get some ice cream?" He's like, "They're like, hell yeah!" He just runs out and grabs a bunch of ice cream. It's fun. We get to have
Yeah,
fun
it's
with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably wrap that here.
Yeah, let's wrap that there. Okay, we got Barry giving it 6, Isaiah 6.5, and I gave it a 7. We all can recommend this movie. Well, this has been episode 11 and a bit on Shazam. Thank you for listening in. Write to us at pointyhatcast@gmail.com and catch us next time on the Pointy Hatcast.
Thanks for dropping by, guys. Stay pointy.
Stay pointy.